Hi, it's Jordan Teen 1, and today I'm going to show you how to make a new bracelet called the Starburst in a Circle. It was created by Fay Bee, and I will show you what it looks like. It's a really awesome design, and I changed it just slightly from her original creation just to make it look the same on both sides. It's three-dimensional, so it's really cool and unique. And you can make this using either the rainbow loom that is set up like this with the two outer rows of pins even with one another and the middle row taken out, or the way I'm going to be showing it is on the monster tail loom. And you will need 49 rubber bands to make each of these little circles. And if you're making a bracelet, you will probably need about 7 or 8 of them to go around your entire wrist. Today I'm going to be using the Rainbow Loom brand rubber bands. I have black and teal. So let me just get my camera closer here. And I'm actually going to turn my loom to the side. The first thing that I'm going to do is take 2 of the black rubber bands, and I'm going to place them from this center pin diagonally up and to the left. Just putting them both on at once. And now I will take 2 more rubber bands, and they're going to go from this middle pin and diagonally up to the right. And now I'm going to take another black rubber band and triple it. So I'm just going to place it on my hook, twist, put it back on, twist, and put it back on. So now you'll see 3 rubber bands on there. I'm going to place it on this center pin that's closest to me. Now, if you are really struggling to do this, you can just double this band, but I like to triple it to make it nice and tight. This is going to be the very bottom here of the bracelet. And so now what I'm going to do is reach down through this cap band that I just put on, this tripled band, and I want to grab the next 2 rubber bands that are underneath. So I'm taking my hook and going down through the pin. I'm pushing back on the top 3 rubber bands, getting them to go behind my hook. I'm grabbing these next 2 bands in line. They're the ones that go out and to the right actually. So I am pulling them both up through, releasing them. But instead of putting them back on themselves, which we often do, I'm just going to move these 2 bands over to the right. Make sure they both make it on there. And now I'm going to once again go down through these top 3 bands, push back. I'm grabbing the next 2 here, the only 2 that are left. And now I'm releasing them from that pin and moving them over to the left. Again, make sure they both make it on there. And now I'm going to release this cap band here and just push it into the center. And so now I'm going to take another black band. It's going to go from the left side straight back. And I'm going to take another black band. It's going from the right side and back. And now I want to remove the bottom layer. So it's just going to be 1 single band from all of the pins. There's 3 rubber bands on each of the pins, so you're just taking the bottom 1, and then there's going to be 2 left on. Push this down. And now we have added 3 black rubber bands. We did the 2 that we initially put on, and now this 1 more. So once we do 3, it's time to start with a color pattern. So I'm going to take a teal band. It's going from this center pin and out to the right. And then I'll take another teal band. It's going from the center pin and out to the left. And now I'm going to take 1 more band that is going to be doubled, and it's going to go right on this center pin. So in order to do that, if you want to do it on your hook, you would just place it on, twist, and put it back on. So you would see the 2 rubber bands. and then you would just place it right on the top. And now what I want to do is take the bottom two teal bands and move them back to the other side, back on themselves. So I'm reaching down through the cap band, getting it to go behind my hook, grabbing this top teal band. I want to hold this in place so it doesn't come off, and it's going to go back on itself over to the left. And now I'm going to go down through again, grab the bottom one, and this is going to come up through and go over to the right. So it's going to look like this. And now I want to repeat that same pattern on the other side. So I'm going to turn this around, and now I'm going to take a teal band going from the middle over to the right, and then a teal band going from the middle over to the left. Going to put that cap band on, and I'll show you a different way you can double the band. You can just place the one end on the pin, twist it, leave it in your fingers, and then just put it back on. That's the way that I find it easiest to do. And now once again, I want the bands to come up through the cap band and back on themselves. So I'm just going to reach down through, grab the one on the top, hold this cap band so it doesn't pop off, and go to the left, and again go down through, bring this bottom one up through and over to the right. So it's going to look the same as the other side. And now what I want to do before I add my next layer is I want to remove the bottom rubber band from all of the 4 end pins. So I'm just grabbing this bottom band and pulling it over the top, doing that for all 4. And push this down. Now I'm going to add 3 more layers of black. So they're always going to be working on the ends here, not doing anything in the middle. So that's my first layer, and every time you add a layer you want to remove the bottom rubber band. Push this down. So that was the first black. Now I'm going to add a second layer of black, or whatever color you might be working with. Again, I'm going to remove the bottom layer, but this time instead of just one single band, we want to remove both of the colored bands. So that's important. Make sure you're getting them both off. It's the only time that you're going to be removing more than one single band. Just make sure that these upper bands don't come off as you're pulling that over the top, because they do tend to want to come off. And now I have another layer of black to do. This is going to be my last layer before I add my next color. And again, I'm removing that bottom rubber band. And so now I want to add the teal color once again. And the way that I'm going to do this is, first I'm going to take these center bands off. Just remove them both. So this cap band just sort of hangs in the middle there. Now I'm going to place on my teal bands. Again, it's going from the middle out to the right, and then from the middle out to the left. Going to do this for both sides, but for right now I'll just work on the side that's facing me. And now I want to grab this cap band, make sure you have both of the bands, and just place it right back on. And now I'm able to bring these up through and over back on themselves. So again, I'm just going to reach down through, make sure it doesn't come off. Here, I'll hold it with my thumb. And just working in order, put the bands back on themselves. And I'll do the same thing here on the other side. So I'm placing from the middle out to the right, and then from the middle to the left. Now I can pick up this cap band that's hanging in the middle, get both bands to go back on the pin, and now I can pull these up through. And now that we've done that, we need to remove a bottom layer. Again, it's just going to be one single black band. Do that for all 4 sides. And push down. So now it's back to 3 more layers of black. It may seem a little bit confusing at first, but once you do it, you'll really get the hang of it and get into the rhythm of it. Now we're moving that bottom black band. And now I'll do a second layer of black. Now this time, remember, we are removing 2 at once because it's these colored bands. It's the teal. So you want them both to come off. And as you can see, this one wanted to come off when I pulled that over. Make sure that they don't do that. And now one more layer of black. Now the bottom layer comes off. And now we're going to add another set of teal bands. So I'm going to take the center cap band here on both sides, just take it off. It's just going to hang there in the center. And now I'm placing my next layer of teal on. And I'm going to pull that cap band, get both of these bands in the circle, and just hook it right back on the pin. And now I can get the bands to come up through. Going to repeat that on the other side. And get this cap band to get back on the pin. And now I want to remove the bottom layer. Don't forget that step. Sometimes I do forget. And now we're back to 3 layers of black. Just removing that bottom layer every time we put a top layer on. So that was the first. To do 2 more of black. Once again, you're removing the 2 teal bands at once. And now I have one more layer of black to do. and push down. And now I've done 3 sets of teal. I want to do one more. So again, I'm taking the center cap bands and removing them. And this will be my last set of teal bands for this circle. Move the cap band back on. And then get the bottom ones to come up. And repeat on this side. Get these to come back on. And now remove that bottom layer. And now what I can do is remove these middle cap bands, and we're done with them, so they're just going to be totally off now. And I'm going to do 3 more layers of black, and then that will complete the first circle. So this is the second. And this time we're taking off the 2, the bottom, and now 1 more layer of black. And repeat over here and push down. So that is going to be 1 complete circle, and now it's time to start the next circle. So I'm going to be doing the teal bands. Just make sure that you have removed this cap band because we want it to be totally separate now. We're going to start the next circle, so I'm going to do the teal bands in the middle, and now I want to put a cap band in the center, so I'm doubling this band. Once again, the bottom bands are going to come up through. And go back on themselves. Going to repeat that for the other side. Putting that cap band in the middle. Now getting these to come up through. And now I have to remove the bottom layer of black. Do that for all the sides. And so now I'm just going to do this exact same pattern all over again. I'll do 3 more layers of black, and then when it's time to add the teal layer, I'm going to take this cap band off, place the 2 teal bands on, and then put the cap band back on. Just make sure that you get both of the rubber bands to go back on. And then move the bottom bands up through and back on themselves. And once I do that layer, it'll be time for 3 more layers of black, and then teal, and so on. And once you have 4 sets of teal bands within the circle, then it's time to start your next. So I'm just going to fast forward here, and when the bracelet gets long enough, I will show you how to remove it from the loom. When you have your bracelet to the length that you'd like it and you're ready to take it off of the loom, you should have 2 rubber bands left on all 4 of the corner pins here. And if you had that cap band on these middle 2, just make sure you take that off. I'm going to take 1 additional black band and I'm going to place it on the outside of these 6 pins, so it's going to make a rectangle. And now I want to carefully remove the bottom 2 rubber bands on these 4 pins. Just make sure that this band you placed on doesn't come off as you're pulling this over. Going to do that for all 4 here. And now what I'm going to do is take the rubber band that is on the right side that's closest to me. I'm going to take it off and place it on the pin straight across. I'm going to do the same thing for the one on the left here, taking it off and moving it straight across. And now I want to take the bottom rubber band and pull it over the top on each of those pins. And now I'm going to flip to the other side here. I want to remove the bottom rubber band on each of these pins on the end, and this one in the middle I can just move over to the other side. And now what I'm going to do is just take my hook and pick up this black band, and then do the one on the other pin, pick that up as well, make sure they both make it on there. I can pull this off of the loom. I should have the 2 rubber bands on my hook. I'm going to take a clip, I have an S clip, and I'm just going to slide this through. Make sure to get both bands hooked through. You can take your hook out, and then here is your bracelet. You would just take the clip and hook it through the other side here. I only made 6 circles, but as I said, you'll probably need 7 or 8 to fit around your wrist. And then here's the one I showed you at the beginning. So there's a lot of different color choices that you can make to make it have a different look. But I think it's an awesome design. So I'd like to send a big thank you to Fay Bee for sharing this design with me and allowing me to share it with all of you. You can always leave me comments on YouTube and Facebook, post pictures of your creations to my Facebook page, and please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of my latest tutorials. You can also find me on Pinterest and Instagram, so please feel free to subscribe to those as well. Thanks for watching!